we're going to be talking about technology today because I personally feel this is one thing that for me gets my blood pumping. There's two extreme sides to it, and we're going to talk about it a bit now because there's like a lot that comes in and out of it, and it's really crucial, and I feel like we underestimate the role it plays and how it works and how it affects. So we live in a world that today is driven by technology, right? Do any of you believe that cell phones are going to go off and we're going to go back to just not having them? Do you believe computers are going to become obsolete? If they do, it's because there's going to be something more technological that's going to happen after that and that we're going to be using. So when thinking about that, we need to understand that when we look at trafficking and injustice and all these social mulls, can't remember. I need to give a disclaimer here. My husband's from Argentina. We speak Spanish at home. So if it comes out, I'm really sorry. Sometimes there's words that I'm like, I can't remember the English words. So you guys just help me, okay? Cool, good. So technology, next slide. Is it a friend or foe? What do you guys feel? Like just off the bat, just getting go, what do you feel like? If we're thinking about injustice, we're thinking about this world that's driven by technology, what is your gut feeling? Is it a friend or foe? Before we carry on with what we're going to be talking about, I'm going to touch on a few things that are real and that are happening through technology. So there's a good saying, and it's called curiosity killed the cat. And I want us to remember this because if something is sparked in your curiosity today, be very careful about what you then go and look into, okay? You'll understand as we talk why I'm saying this, because human trafficking isn't a walk in the park. Injustice in the world isn't a walk in the park. There's real things happening in a real world, and very often we're very sheltered from it. So if your curiosity is sparked, but you know, don't open that door, don't go look at that, please pay heed to the Holy Spirit, because you don't want to open doors in your own life where you will be vulnerable, okay? Cool. So the first thing that I just want to touch on is that the average age for a child getting a smartphone, what age do you guys think it is? 10.3, so 10 and 4 months, is the average age globally for children to get smartphones, okay? What happens with technology, what is a general thing that we see, is that technology is used to promote false truths. Why do I say this? Just what we're going to be looking at now is the reasons why we believe that it is a foe, okay? The reasons why I believe, and I want to share with you why technology is not our friend, okay? So considering the age that children get smartphones, and that from then on, adults don't suddenly say, I have no need for a phone, I have no need for a computer. So it's like the starting point of the rest of their lives, okay? A lot of the things that we get through technology and a lot of the things that are portrayed and are shared, they're false truths. Now, what is this? This is when a lie parades as truth. We can see it all around us. I want to focus on one specifically so you guys can get the idea of what I'm talking about, and we're just going to watch a video. One of the things we're seeing in South Africa that's very relevant, and that's why I've used this example, I don't know how many of you are aware that they're busy deciding if they want to amend the legislation that criminalizes prostitution in South Africa. Is anyone aware of this? Right now they're deciding if they're going to put a motion in to amend it and make it completely legal. So it's a debate that's going on in our country, and there are many lies parading as truth from where we're standing. So I just want us to watch this video so we can get a gist for it. Before we press play, I just want you to, for a second, think about what your concept of prostitution is. Just think about it, in one phrase, in one word, it's this for me, okay? Okay, so how many of you watching that felt different than the first thought you had before we started the video? Did any of your minds change about how you see a woman in prostitution? You don't have to. If you didn't, that's great. What I want us to understand, and why we're going to watch quite a few videos, and maybe it's not what you expect from a talk about technology, but we need to understand that the message that this sends out is contrary to the message that's in the rest of the media. So what are we seeing? That people are saying that no, selling sex is dignified. Why? Because the media is spreading it. So the messages that are not truth, that are based on lies, are being spread. People drink it in, and it's what's creating the mindsets in this world about what is truth. And it's not. We believe that no person should ever have to sell their body. No person should ever have to make that choice. Why? Because, I mean, the Bible's full of it. You could quote hundreds of scriptures, but intrinsically, people, your body is the vessel of your soul and your spirit, and having to do that breaks you. Now, why would that be beneficial? Why is that dignified? But what do we hear? And this is scary. We hear that being able to be recognized as a sex worker dignifies you. Sex work is dignified. It's not work. It will never be. If someone has to pay you for you to sleep with them, how is that consensual? No. The person's doing it, but they're being paid to do it. They're being exploited. So what I want us to understand with this is the fact that very often what we see in the media, what we see through technology, what's at just like on our phones, a click away, are false truths. They're not things that are based on the truth. And we know what the truth is. It's what God says, right? Okay, another thing that we see that makes technology a foe is grooming. How many of you have heard of grooming before? Okay, so there's two sides to this. The one side is that through media and through mass media, through the internet, we are constantly being groomed for what our understanding of so many things in life is, what success is, what beauty is, what you should and shouldn't do, what it means to have made it in life. And one thing that we see like across the board and around the world is the sexualization of society. Why are these pictures up there? Because these are ads. These are things that are promoting the idea that from a young age, children should be sexualized. Children are being younger and younger. We see it in the education system. We see it all around us. And what is pushing this into people's personal space in their homes? Technology, the internet, the TV, movies, magazines. The list is endless. But we are constantly being groomed to believe that this is normal. So what we believe in, like, that's intrinsic to us, like your gut feeling of, no, they're kids, or no, that's not how it is. There's a saying in the world, sex sells. We hear it all the time, and that's what people believe. So our society as a whole is being sexualized at a very alarming rate. And the other thing that factors into this is consumerism. We want to consume. There's a need to constantly be consuming new, more different things. Now, what is something that we see on the side of trafficking is that, I'll get to that later. Okay, another thing that's very alarming with regards to the fact that technology is a foe is in the area of pornography. Okay, we're going to watch just a video. And I just want you guys to just watch, and we'll talk about it. Okay, when I first saw this, I did cry, because it's so overwhelming to think that a child of 13 years old is a recovering porn addict. What is happening to our world that children who are 13 years old are going to rehab for porn addiction? It's staggering. And I know that the natural instinct is to kind of feel like we need to protect the children. But it's not just about the children, it's about the adults too. I don't know how much you know about porn and the damages that it causes, but we're just gonna go on to the next slide, and I want you to notice that this is your brain, kind of a graphic image of it. That's your brain on heroin, and that's your brain on porn. It physically deteriorates the human brain. It affects it physically. Right now, what we're looking at in the I mean, in the anti-trafficking arena, we understand the fact that porn fuels sexual exploitation. It creates the demand for it to happen. The stats on porn are staggering. They are staggering, and it's not just outside the church, it's inside the church, because the church has broken people in it. But why don't we talk about it? Because it's shameful and it's hidden. And we are far from being equipped to actually deal with it. We need people who will be passionate about it, about dedicating themselves to really work in this area. And that's why I spoke to you about curiosity kills the cat. We need to be wise. We need to be careful, but we need champions in this area. Something that's being spoken about like broadly in this is the fact that it's like smoking became a public health crisis. Today, pornography is a public health crisis. Back then, doctors were promoting cigarettes as a response to your illness. Today, it's kind of prescribed that just consume porn, you're not hurting anyone, you're not doing anything. And we could go on and on about it. Lots of the people who star in pornography films are trafficked. They're forced to do it. People will say they look happy, they're enjoying it. It's not. The stats on violence that is explicit and hardcore violence in porn, it's between 70 and 80% of pornography shows hardcore violence against whoever the person is, and usually it's women or children. And we could literally go on and on. But I just want us to watch one more video. This is a video about some celebrities who've spoken out about it, because this is the thing. It doesn't pick and choose, and it's being shoved into our safe spaces through phones, through the internet, through any sort of technological connection we have, and it's everywhere, and it's really eating away at the core of society. Okay, we're going to stop it there. You guys can get the videos from me later. There's 4 more famous people who talk about it and the reality of it and how it's not good. But we pressed for time, so I want to be able to get to everything. Currently, South Africa is #1 in the world for mobile access to porn. #1. Okay, next thing we're going to look at is something called sexting, something that's like kind of rampant in schools these days. It's scary. I've read police reports where the police themselves are saying that it's making their job difficult to protect children because the kids are sharing stuff. Just an FYI, if someone shares an image with you and you have it on your phone and you send it to someone else, you're as guilty as the first person who sent it. You didn't have to take the picture, but if it is found on your phone, you can go to prison. Just letting you know. Do not let that stuff sit on your devices if it ever gets. Tell your kids this, because kids can also be held responsible for it. Okay, there's intricacies to the law, but they can be, and kids need to know this, because sometimes it's the thing of, oh, they sent it to me. I didn't ask for it. But if it's on their device, they're as culpable as the person who originally sent it or took it. So basically what sexting is it's a trend that's happening now of, on the one hand, it's requests for nude photos between peers, but then there's something that happens that's called sextortion. We're going to just watch one more video. It's 1 minute. It's called Stop Sextortion. Sorry? Sextortion. The video will explain. Because this is something that is real, and it's happening now in our local schools, primary and high school. Yeah. Okay. I thought this was really just a really good way of showing it, because you can show this to kids and it's not harmful. Often with technology-wise, something we struggle with awareness is that showing what the thing is kind of opens someone's mind to, and it can be harmful. So finding things like this that are like really nice and super child-friendly are really good, because you can actually make them aware without doing any more damage. Okay. So one of the big things that we need to understand, and why we're talking about all of this, is because traffickers use technology. So all these things we've spoken about flow in and out of trafficking. They're either supplying and creating a demand for it, or they're products of it and what's coming out of it. And we're actually looking at the reality today in Cape Town, in South Africa, around the world, that traffickers use technology. They're using social media to groom and find their victims. They're using things like Snapchat, and there's other weird names that I feel too old to know what they're about, but there's other app names that they're actually using to find and identify and get a hold of their victims. They use media to sell their victims over WhatsApp. So the fact that it's so freely available, that it connects the world, that it is easy to get a hold of, that it's in everyone's space, makes it a great tool for people to use for trafficking to happen. Something that we understand with social media and smartphones and everything is that on the web, I don't know how many of you are aware, I'm just going to mention two things, and because of time I can't go into it. You can go to the next slide. There's the normal web that we use at the top. Then there's the deep web, and there's the dark web. This was an eye-opener for me. I was like, what? There's more than Google? Yes, there's a whole nother side to the web, and this is where the activity and the illegal activity around trafficking happens, is in the deep web and the dark web. There's live cyber sex trafficking on the deep web, the dark web. Why do they use this? Because they can hide their identities and it's not traceable. There are ways to trace it, but this protects them from being caught because it's hidden, and the way it operates is below the surface, okay? So the deep web it's like hidden just below the virtual waterline. It's a secretive network, and it's unindexed by search engines. So that's why search engines don't pick it up. You have to have special software on your computer to be able to access it. And it allows users to share files directly and secretly. So it's like one-on-one connection. So a lot of online porn producers use this around the world. If you go look for news articles, you'll see huge busts that they've gotten people like in Indonesia who were broadcasting to people in Europe, and they've actually brought them in through the activity that they're doing on the deep web. The dark web is like even more ominous than the deep web, and like you can see on the image, it's like where actual drug trafficking and human trafficking actually takes place. Yeah, but I'm sorry, I can't go more into that. Something we need to understand, just ending off talking about how technology is a foe, is the fact that it gives you an illusion of privacy. You feel that if you do something and you erase it off your computer, it's gone. No, it's not. It's like going up onto a mountain and breaking a feather pillow and expecting to be able to pick up those feathers again. We tell kids when we do awareness, if you've put it on the net, it's there. It's public use. So be careful, and tell those you love to be careful what you share, how you share it, the information you give, the pictures you put up. Traffickers use photos. They look for clues in the photos. The school emblem, the place behind the person, time tags, location zones. It's scary. Now, we don't want people to completely freak out, which is why we carefully share this information with people, because we've spoken to parents where they're like, my kids aren't leaving the house. They're not getting a phone even. They're not getting a computer. But that's going to happen because they have friends, they go to school, and they live in a world where technology is interlinked with everything. Okay? So I personally believe that even though this is so overwhelming, and it is, because like this is just touching the tip of the iceberg, like there is so much more stuff to look into. But as overwhelming as it is, we can make technology our friend. So we believe it is our friend, okay? Why is it our friend? Because we get resources off the internet. Technology really gives us the ability to have quick access to emergency things that we need, or things that are crucial to be able to keep us safe, those we love safe, our community safe. It's crucial. So I'm just going to quickly go through some of the things. It's a website called Fight the New Drug, okay? This is amazing. If there's one thing you guys go away with today, take down the name of Fight the New Drug. It's an organization that is fighting against pornography and the addiction of pornography. I mean, the stuff that they do is phenomenal, because they really give people everything they need to know, information-wise, to help others. There's resources. There's like really cool things they do to get you on board and be like a fighter against it. their whole thing revolves around fighting for real love, true love. Because what pornography portrays is the lie about what real love is and what real intimacy looks like. So this is an amazing thing. The next slide, just go to the next one. They have like lots of stuff on the site. They have resources. They have a whole lot of things, okay? Another resource we have is called Fortify. This is a sister company of Fight the New Drug to give support to recovering porn addicts. So it's an app you download on your phone with a support system. I think there's a small monthly fee that you pay, but this is something real that someone who's struggling with it, whether you find out about a friend or a family member or someone you know, people are very ashamed to speak about it because they feel like, I can manage this, and people will shun me if they find out, and I can't really get out of it, so I just have to manage it. But there is ways out of it. There are lots of stories of people who have very successfully been recovered from porn addiction, and this is a great tool to have. Okay, next tool. The National Human Trafficking Resource Line. In South Africa, we have this amazing tool. It operates 24/7 around the country. There's call specialists on call, and it's for two things. It's for, well, three things, but two things. Tip-offs. If you see something dodgy in your neighborhood, you see something that you're not sure, like, is it, isn't it, call it in. Let them know. You can do it anonymously, or you can say who you are if you want to. This, I can't remember the stats of how many people have been rescued in the last 2 years since it launched, but it's been amazing to see that people who have tipped off have given key information that someone else was rescued. Because what the resource line does is they redirect things to the key responders. So they will screen the information and then redirect. The second function it's for is for someone who's actually a victim. So what we're trying to do and what all the organizations are trying to do is get this number into public space. If you want to give a tip off, or if you are in a dodgy situation, then please call the number. Okay, next thing. Panic Hero, another app you can download on your phone. Kids can download this, and what it has is a panic button for emergency situations. The great thing about this app, one, is it was developed by people we know in Stellenbosch. They're doing amazing work. But what this does is you connect it to 3 people you know. So when you activate your panic button, or whether it's a child or whoever does, the people you know can follow you in real time where you're at. Okay, so they can see exactly where your location is. And for, like, there's a second phase to it. If there's like a small monthly fee of like 15 Rand or something ridiculous, it will give you the option to contact emergency services. And there's all different reasons. So it's not just for human trafficking, that's one of them, but it's for heart attacks, it's for robberies, it's for hijackings, it's for whatever. It's good. Next one. Sorry, we're flying through this just to get through. Prevention versus cure. There's going to be a workshop in the afternoon that will touch more on this. This is an initiative that BADTA actually launched out of STOP. It's a web-based platform that vets scams. So when someone's applying for a job, and this job is like, oh, this sounds a bit, there's weird, it doesn't match up, it's too good to be true, they're offering you a job where you will work half day, 40,000 Rand a month, and you need no experience, you just need to come. That's dodgy, okay? There's no jobs like that. So what you do is you go onto the platform, you fill in a form, we do the investigation work for you, well, BADTA does. We do the investigation work and we look into it, and what we do is we advise the people, we would strongly advise you do not take this opportunity because there's this red flag, okay? The other function it has is for people who are traveling, they can submit their travel details and we'll warn you, flag you if there's some like really hotspot trafficking zones that you're going into, what you need to be aware of, okay? A couple of the safety nets that are available, sometimes you heard it mentioned earlier, prevention is really better than cure. So especially if there's parents or brothers and sisters and in this group or people you know, there's some safety nets that we can put in place to avoid people coming into contact with these awful things around it, okay? So the first thing is filters and blockers, okay? Oh, sorry. First thing is, this is Google for Kids. I found out about this a week ago. I was like, this is amazing. It's Google for Kids. So it's a different kind of Google that you can let kids enter, and it blocks the unsavory content. So it's probably kids who are a little bit older, more aware of the world, will not be very happy because it might be too young for them. But definitely, primary school kids, it's a really good option because kids want to be connected. I have friends who have, I met their son when he was 5, and he lives on the cell phone, the tablet. He has to have a device with him. So kids really young are being in contact with this stuff. So this is a great option because it literally does not let any unsavory content through. Another thing is filters and blockers. There are lots of filters you can put on your computer, on your cell phones, on your kids' computers and cell phones. It's something that people can be aware of that they can put to prevent the content coming through. Okay? Something that is really awesome about you can't even see it. That's the world, by the way. About technology is that it crosses borders. What does that mean for us? We don't just influence our community, our immediate people. We can be in touch with people in India, in, the UK, in Alaska. We can really cross borders and really affect areas that are beyond our immediate reach. So for me, this is a huge plus to why technology is our friend. Why? Because we can have huge influence if we use it correctly and for the right reasons. Just a quick something you can look into. This is Thorn. The website's called wearethorn.org. Thorn is amazing. They're developing technology that's actually rooting out child sex trafficking on the internet. I'm just wanting to show you guys an example of something that's harnessing the power that technology has to actually do good. They've created apps, they've created bots, they've created things that function that beyond my knowledge and understanding, that is actually rooting out the stuff and combating it, flagging it. It's making a huge impact in this whole area. Yeah, so since 2016, Spotlight, which is one of the technology things they've developed, has helped law enforcement in the USA identify an average of 8 kids per day. They reduced their critical search times by 65% of searching for these kids. And then they found a total of 5,791 victimized kids. Since 2016, that's 2 years. So that's amazing. If we could, by God's grace and inspiration, create stuff, we don't have to always reinvent the wheel. We can partner and replicate. We can see what can be done. But technology has amazing power to be able to really impact where our feet and our hands can't get. Okay, I just want us to watch one more video called Whipped. It's about something that the Salvation Army ran. It's an amazing campaign. I wish I had the idea before them because it's really good. I love this. When I first saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's an amazing idea. And it's just amazing to see like how much power there is to be able to harness technology and use it to fight trafficking, fight injustice, fight the things that are happening in our communities, and to really make an impact. Because what does this do? This is the kind of thing that sticks with people. You can give them a 2-hour-long talk about what it is. They'll probably walk away and forget like 99% of what you said. But if you do something like this, simple, to the point, connects with their hearts and minds, I can guarantee you that they won't forget about it. So basically, the gist, you can go to the next one, of what I wanted to just kind of bring across through this talk is that even though when we you just leave it there. When we see all this stuff, we hear the stats, we know about what's happening, we know about what's kind of eating away at the core of our society, it's overwhelming. And it's something that makes us want to run for the hills, lock our doors, and keep people inside. Yes, we need to be wise, but I really believe that we are by far underestimating the impact we can make if we harness it, use it for good, use it to spread a message like what we're talking about, true freedom. People are talking about freedom all around the world. Freedom means a lot of things to different people, but someone said it last night, and it's one of the things that keep us going and what we're doing. True freedom can only be found in Christ. And we don't have to say it like that, but we can bring messages that bring hope and freedom using technology, using what's at our hands, and using what people are always connected with. We can really make a massive impact. So I hope that you'll go away from here and you'll think that God will spark ideas. Maybe technology is not really your thing, but you know people. Maybe you know someone who's kind of saying something, you're like, hey, you should do this and this and this with that. okay? A lot of these ideas seem crazy at first. They seem like really random and really crazy and really out there, but they're things that can make a huge impact, okay? So I really want to encourage you, don't be afraid, don't be bound by fear. But like we have been inspired to just do whatever we can, and however we can do it, I want to encourage you to do the same.